Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus A330 pilot, and welcome to our first flight in the iniBuilds Airbus A340 version 1.0.4. Today we're going to fly the Air Mauritius A340 from London Gatwick down to the tropical paradise of the island of Mauritius, which is one of my personal favorite destinations as well, just for its diversity with all the beautiful mountains, waterfalls, but also beaches and wildlife. So really, if you do like dogs, that may be a destination for you as well. As you can see, really a diverse island, and today we're going to do the 11.5-hour flight from London all the way down there. Typical winter season holiday flight over here. So without any further ado, let's get straight into this and start by checking our flight plan. So follow me into the SimBrief briefing documents. We are departing London Gatwick, then we're heading across France, Italy, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and then eventually through Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Somalia across the Indian Ocean down to Mauritius. You can see a small ETOPS sector down here, 2 ETOPS sectors to be precise, as we got a little bit of landfall here based on the Seychelles. Now, looking into the significant weather chart, there is quite a bit happening across our route of flight. So first of all, crossing jet stream over France, and then we got that area marked as number 3 over here, which is moderate turbulence, flight level 380 and below. Then we got a couple of lovely jet streams as we are heading across Egypt. And finally, we do have a volcanic eruption in the north of Ethiopia over here, with Mount Haley blowing up. So, yeah, a little bit, might have to apply a little bit of caution over there to make sure that we, in case of an emergency descent, don't run ourselves into problems, since this area here is known for its mountainous terrain as well. Then heading down to Mauritius, luckily there is no activity in the intertropical convergence zone today, and then we're eventually going to make a straight-in approach to runway 14. Looking into the airport weather, London Gatwick, a little bit rainy at the moment, with rain all the way in the forecast here, but Mauritius, lovely, absolutely lovely. A couple of showers of rain, which is normal for this time of the year. Temperatures 29 degrees, and looking into the forecast for landing at 0300, it's going to be absolutely beautiful down there as well. Our alternate in Réunion is likewise good, landing at 0300, again, just scattered clouds, northerly winds, and that's it. With all of that in mind, let's go into the top of our flight plan, departing at 0640, arriving at 1823 with a schedule at 30, and we've got more than enough margin with any of our weights, starting in flight level 330, later on going up all the way to flight level 390 for today's flight. Now with that in mind, let's go down into the fuel section and see if we do need any extra. So we got 80 tons of planned takeoff weight, plus taxi fuel of 600, and the question is, do we need anything more than that? I would say no, not really, so let's round that up to 81 tons of fuel, and then we are good to go for today's flight. So follow me into the cockpit of our Airbus A340, and then we can start setting up. Now, yes, this one is just like the real Air Mauritius aircraft, equipped with an EIS-2 set of displays. I know that the EIS-1s make a major part of the 1.0.4 update, but we did already talk about them both in the video where I presented the update, as well as in the attempt to live stream, which unfortunately failed. So there are plenty of examples here of the EIS-1 displays already. So let's go ahead and get going over here. Engine masters are off, start selector norm, the weather radar is turned off, landing gear lever down, wipers are off, battery voltages have to be above 25.5, and they all are. So we can turn on the batteries, turn on the external power, and then the EIS-2s do their self-test, which we are already familiar with. And while those are doing that, let's go ahead and start importing our flight into the electronic flight bag. Now this error, instance was null, seems to be added like a lot recently with the 1.04 update, but I just don't see any trouble with it down here, so yeah, I suppose we can just keep it that way. Alright, now let's go ahead and start a little bit of calculations here. Number one, we're gonna go down into the FMS, just delete any of those previously stored items, then MCDU menu, ATSU. This is all new stuff now. We're going to the AOC menu, flight init, and let's do the flight init down there. And here we go, Air Mauritius 5-3 from Gatwick to Mauritius, alternate Fox Mike Echo Echo. Then let's go ahead and request the latest weather here as well, Echo Golf Kilo Kilo. We do want the METAR, and send that please. Okay, so weather should arrive any moment now. The airplane starts powering up, so let's go ahead, turn the ADRs on, 1, 2, and 3. APU fire test is looking good. Then I am already gonna turn on the no smoking and the emergency exit lights, and while we're waiting for all those services to commence, let's already go ahead and call for our catering services so that we got some good meals on board for today's flight. Cleaning has already been completed, and honestly you wouldn't see much because they would simply come in through the jetways, would be doing that stuff in the back, and that's it. So that much about the new GSX cleaning services really. Okay, so our weather should hopefully have arrived now. Let's see, received messages. Nope, still waiting for it. Okay, fine. Well, in the meantime, we can head right down here. So Gatwick, departing runway 26 left at the moment. That is going to be a wet runway. Can synchronize that weather. Takeoff weight, let's go up here, payload and fuel. Import all from Simbrief. And then for the fueling, we said we wanted 81 tons. Like that. And then we do instant load. Right, that certainly felt like we're full. Perfect. 81 tons are on board. Lovely, and that brings us to a takeoff weight of 247 roughly for our preliminary calculations here. So 247 tons, flaps, config 2, air conditioning off. Do we need anti-ice with today's weather? I'll be able to tell you as soon as the weather actually arrives, which it hasn't done yet. Okay, so we just gotta wait a little bit here, hope that it's going to arrive any moment now. Okay, well, we'll just calculate anti-ice on, doesn't hurt, does it? Okay, performance limit is 273.2, so that's all looking fantastic. Perfect, then that's our takeoff performance done. Let's go for the charts. Gatwick, search, we got the parking chart and we got the ground chart. So we are departing by the Bogner 1 X-ray departure today, and we want that one both in the SID as well as the SID PT charts. Excellent, and that's our initial EFB setup completed, so let's go right back into our aircraft setup. Technical status is absolutely fine. Really nothing much to complain about with this airplane today, so that's already a good thing. Then next up, we got our oxygen, which is good, hydraulic is good, engine oil is full, perfect, flaps up, that agrees with the lever, spoilers retracted, then we can test the alternate brakes, and that's going to be right down here. So unfortunately the bug requiring you to remove the chocks to be able to test the alternate brakes still exists, so let's remove them. Test our brakes, and that is looking fantastic. Alright, chocks back in. What's the brake temperature? Cool, perfect. So looks like the airplane's been actually standing here for a little while already. Alright, cool. So that is done. Then we got all that lovely stuff done. I'm still wondering why there is no weather though. Should have arrived by now. Let's try that again. Weather request, Echo Golf Kilo Kilo. METAR yes, and send. Alright, cool. So that stuff is on the way. Now, one thing that I quickly have to do down here is to go into the settings. Then we got third-party settings. We will be using sane tensions today, not hoppy, because, well, I'm recording this at 6 in the morning. So if you guys are asking why I'm often not using VATSIM for my recordings, there's your answer. Alright, cool. Then let's already head over into the ATC.com next page and get the ATIS here as well. So Gatwick / departure, and oh god, can't send this. That's a little bug as well. The airplane always wants us to do the init request first, then it can send the ATIS request. That's not exactly realistic. In the real world you can do that straight away, so a little bug there that iniBuilds is hopefully going to improve on in the future. That's requested. So that's our flap plan initialization. So Gatwick departure, Mauritius arrival, and you can request them both, please. So message record is clear for the time being, and well, that's it. So preliminary load sheet, that's Air Mauritius 53, 24th of November, from Gatwick to Mauritius, 3 pilots and 10 cabin crews, 165.2, takeoff fuel is good, and then CG 27.2 is good, portable water is full, and that's it. Alright, we can absolutely accept this one. Great, so with that we are done with our preliminaries, so let's get right into the pre-flight procedures here. So, flight recorder ground control on, crew supply on, evacuation switch on captain, and all the rest is set. In the middle, refueling is complete, so the seatbelt sign comes on, and we can turn the batteries off and on again. Elect DC page, charging properly, and air condition page, okay, it is freaking cold in here, we'll start the APU. Here we go. So refueling is done, so our fuel pumps are all going on. And I have a feeling we can already dim those annunciator lights here, because, well, it's getting dark. This is going to be en route, mostly a night flight, and then arriving back in the daylight. So let's see if we've gotten any weather by now. No. Still nothing. Well, there's got to be some bug involved in that. Not sure where it is, but there is definitely some bug in this. Okay, so be it. Then we've just got to live with that. Well then, down here, VHF 1, 2, interphone. We are, of course, gonna turn all of those up. Even though not that much up. So 1 to 1.5 can already be pre-selected on VHF 2. Well, not just pre-selected, but actually made active. Come on, switch it. I hate it when you scroll a little bit and the simulator does then lose its ability to press any other button until a certain time has elapsed. I'm not sure where that bug comes from. My expectation is kinda that it can't handle that many inputs at the same time from scrolling on the button. And that's what's causing it, but I really don't know. So 1 to 1.955 and 1 to 1.805. So 1 to 1.805, going active, and tower 12423. It's interesting how you can see those numbers slightly flickering there as well, as if they don't really want to change over and want to change back. That's got to involve some bug. By the way, a bug with a base simulator, I suppose, because there are default aircraft doing the same thing. Alright then, let's start by doing some inputs down here. And interestingly enough, my entire suite of WinWing hardware is not really operating. So let's just quickly go to the outside view. That's important when you plug a device in and out, because on the walk-around mode, the simulator does not actually reset your panel state, while if you are in the cockpit view, when you plug a device in and out, it resets your panel state, which obviously we don't want. So let's just go outside over here. That should hopefully be working. Let's go back inside and see. No, still not working. Interesting. Well, let me restart Sim Pro in the background here. Sometimes the simulator is weird.
Willing to Romeo Whiskey, request push and start clearance.
Willing to Romeo Whiskey, pushback approved.
I'm really not sure why it's doing that sometimes, but okay. Right, so semi-pro's restarted. Let's hope that it's going to work now. Oh, still not working. Interesting. What happens if I'm changing something here? Sometimes that fixes it. But no. So they just remain dead. Okay. Suppose that's not ideal. Well, let's just get on with the video then, shall we? So, Gatwick to Mauritius, alternate Réunion, Mauritius 53, costing 30, flight level 330. Then we are going to depart London Gatwick from runway 26 left, Bochna 1 X-ray departure. And we can insert that. Oh, and suddenly the lights on my devices are coming on. And I can click something. Okay. So suddenly my hardware works. I suppose I don't have to understand that. I suppose I really don't have to understand that. Okay, so then we got the flight plan over here. So arriving via Pushback to Echo arrival, which is that one here, and insert. Now let's go for data, next page, stored waypoints, and that's gonna be Gatwick X2. Based on Echo Golf Kilo Kilo 26 left slash, what's the runway track? 257. And 25 miles straight ahead. PBD insert, store, and then we can go onto the secondary flight plan, copy active, Gatwick X2, enter, and holding at 257, right hand turns, 1 minute lag time, here we go. Okay, so from here, lateral revision of the last waypoint, Gatwick, new destination, and then we are going to arrive on the ILS approach runway 26 left if we have to make an immediate return. Lovely, now back to the next page to access the fix info page, and then we got our departure runway, Gatwick 26 left, 257 to draw the extended center line, and finally Gatwick X2 to mark it, the engine out visually there as well. Now for our performance initialization, let's have a look at the initial load sheet there. So received messages, oh there is another load sheet, and that is final, perfect. So 165.2. And let's see what the CG is going to be. Would you please be so kind and switch to the next? Why is the click spot of the trim wheel over here? That's not... Let's try that like this. Okay, CG's 27.4. Fuel is 81. So, contingency fuel 2.1, alternate fuel 3.9, and final reserve 2.6. Okay, now for the takeoff performance, and for this we got a CG of 27.2 and a takeoff weight of 243. Ooh, that's quite some tons down. Is that really true? This one's even less. What's going on here? Is GSX fucking about again? And what is that nonsense about? Scheduled off block is 1600. Okay, yeah, I suppose GSX is fucking about then. So let's just set the payload down here again. 246.2. And that's pretty much what we calculated. And yeah, on is correct, with the occasional rain coming in here, and then quite some low takeoff speeds, but so be it. So flaps 2, 37 degrees, trim 5.1 up. like that, and our speeds are going to be 29, 44, 62. Alright, noise abatement procedure number 1, I believe, in Gatwick. So let's do acceleration in 3200. Engine out acceleration 1700. Derated climb 2. And lastly, Echo Golf Kilo Kilo 26 left for an immediate return. Flight level 330 versus flight level 325 is good. Then let's go on to the plan page again to add our step climbs. So flight level 350 at OTOP. Then we've got flight level 360 at Raska. Flight level 370 at Konat. Flight level 380 at Upcock. And flight level 390 at Denley. And it can only take 4. Okay, that's fine. Then we gotta do the last. Gotta add the last one later. Alright, cool. So let's now go over to the init page. Wind, and do a wind data request. And now it tells us extra minus 2.1. Well, I don't quite believe that, so I'm sure it is going to work out. Alright, we're just going to take it that way, and then let's go right up into checking our standard instrument departure. Wagner 1 X-ray. Please load the chart. There we go. Okay, cool. So straight at Kilo Kilo Whiskey 06, maximum 220 knots and above 2,500 feet. That's what we got. Then we got Kilo Kilo Whiskey 08, max 220, left turn Sierra 11 above 4,000, max 220. So we got to keep the flaps extended quite a bit on this departure. Then we got waypoint 17, max 250 at 5,000. Then we got waypoint 20, max 250 at 6,000. And then we got waypoint 25, max 250 at 6,000. Alright, cool. And from there we continue towards Bockner, max 250 at 6,000. And that's it. So let's have a look into the procedural description here. Bockner 1 X-ray, departure 133.18, RNAV required, caution close and obstacles, okay, all nonsense. Initial climb is going to be 5,000 feet. Like that, flight directors are coming on, constraints are selected, VORs are selected. Perfect, so with that we are basically done with our setup over here. Oh, the lights do look a little bit dark, do they? Let's go back to bright. Alright, cool. So we are finished with everything up here. Then let's go right down and say hello to our passengers.
Roger, pushback approved. Easy 2-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Air Mauritius, I would like to welcome you aboard our Airbus A340-300 on our flight to Mauritius. Flight time today, 11 hours 25 minutes, expecting a smooth flight at an altitude of initially 33,000, later on up to 39,000 feet. For the time being, sit back, relax, and make yourself comfortable, and I'll get back to you with the latest weather when we start our approach into our destination airport. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard. So, luckily we don't need to do 2 languages here. Then I suppose we'll get started with our briefing. So, this is going to be takeoff from Gatwick's runway 26 left. We got the Bockner 1 X-ray departure. Initial climb 5,000, later on automatic climb to 6,000. Couple of altitude restrictions that we've actually got to meet down here. So, which one is that it can't make? That's 4,000, okay, minus 610 feet. We'll be able to get around that one. That shouldn't be much of a problem. by just accelerating a little bit later. Alright, MSA 3000 feet rounded up, and extra fuel and time currently tells me -2, but believe me, as soon as we're in the air, that is going to look a lot different. Alright, thanks for that. Now we are going to taxi out runway 26 left. Hotspots for a taxi out, well, I personally just find Gatwick a little bit complicated as an airport, so good attention when we're taxiing here that we don't run into anything. Apart from that, stop margin for today's takeoff is unknown, but it's only going to be a few meters, I can tell you that much from experience with the type. So only a few meters stop margin, engine out sits straight at 25 miles, climbing 3000, and then we can radar vector back to runway 26 left if required. We are above the maximum landing weight though, so unless the airplane is on fire and not extinguishable, we are not going to do anything fancy by doing an immediate return. So really just keep it careful, keep it controlled. We're in IMC today, so even if we have to do an immediate return, climb to 1500, minimum 6 miles final, so that we're stabilized at 1000 feet. Any questions or suggestions on that? In terms of nothing, or in terms of specials, I got nothing, non-standard nothing. We don't need to de-ice luckily, and finally there are no threats for today's departure. Any questions or suggestions? No? Alright, then that's our briefing completed. Cockpit preparation checklist please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 80,940 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs. Nav and baro ref. Well, that's a good question actually. QNH 90901. So here we go, QNH 90901 reading 240 left and right. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Alright, perfect. So we do have a company message, just tell me it's not a camel stop. And I can't move my view again, because I did an input over here. That's annoying. So ATSU, AOC menu, received messages, another load sheet. Another final load sheet. Okay, we'll have a look into that in a few moments. In the meantime, let's go ahead and request our departure clearance. So we are an A340 300 going from Gatwick to Mauritius. Gate is 51 in the middle. We did not get any A's, so I'm just gonna put alpha down there. Gatwick, and we call it a good afternoon. Alright, request pre-departure clearance, Mauritius 53, 340, 300 to Mauritius at Gatwick, stand 51 Mike, ATIS Alpha, good afternoon, sent. Excellent, company message received, what is it? Nothing. What is only company message received then? Okay, so let's just have a look at that last load sheet that just arrived. So that's final at 15:59, Mauritius 53, Gatwick to Mauritius on the November Bravo India, which is our airplane. So request being processed, stand by, and here's our clearance already. Interesting. No destination, no arrival runway. Huh. And no SID either. What is it doing? Well, let's start a new flight and say intentions. Unable, send. And then we'll just try that again. Alright, that looks better, and send. Let's see what's going to come this time. Tells me straight away company message received, but Where? Okay, so last attempt with a load sheet. I think that revert to voice was from the previous clearance attempt, so let's see if anything is going to arrive here. So let's have one more look at that last load sheet. 165.2, that's checked. Locked click spot, that's also checked. And then we got 27.4, which is checked, 81 tons, leading us to a takeoff weight of, well, that is not checked. Actually, does that even add up? 165 plus 80, 242? That doesn't even add up. That's that. I mean, 165.2 plus 80 tons should be 145.2, shouldn't it? It says 242 down here. 0.9. That does not make sense. That load sheet is wrong. Okay, and here's our clearance. Print that, Wilco, and send. Okay, so cleared to Mauritius via the Bogna 1 X-ray departure, runway 26 left. And we got 26 left, Bogna 1 X-ray is confirmed. Maintain 6,000. Departure on 118.905, squawk 7317. And 1895, yeah, we're gonna get that again later. Alright, cool, so our clearance is in and our clearance is confirmed. Then let's go ahead and get the airplane ready. Ground from flight deck. Please confirm that all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is getting removed, and the bypass pin is installed. We're working on that, Captain. Alright, in the meantime we'll call for pushback. Gatwick ground, Mauritius 5-3, request pushback and startup.
Mauritius 5-3. Pushback and startup approved. Face west.
Pushback and startup approved. Face west, Air Mauritius 5-3. Okay, before start checklist. Park and brake our trucks. Brake set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. v1.129, VR144, v2.162, flex 37. Windows. So that's closed, and the beacon is on before start checklist complete. So, ground flight deck, pushback and startup approved facing west, and the park and brake is set. Even though east would make more sense, wouldn't it? But okay. We'll do what they say, and then we'll see if they've got any special plan for taxiing us out. They probably do. In the meantime, let's get the taxi chart ready, and then GSX should be ready any moment here as well. Wagner 51. Yeah, okay, we can taxi out if we push to the west, that's fine. So, continue pushback, and that's going to be nose left, which is west. So, release park and brake. Park and brake released. Okay, start on pushback and stand by for engines. Roger. So, ground flight, we'll start engines 1, 2, 3, 4 in that sequence, and we'll start with engine number 1 now. Flight deck is powered, engine 1 start. And here's 10%, engine 2 start. Beautiful sunset departure, isn't it?
Lima, push and start approved.
Roger, pushback approved. 39er Romeo Lima.
Even though it's always shocking how quickly the days are getting shorter around this time of the year. I mean, it literally feels like the sun stayed up until 10 PM like, I don't know, a month ago? Now it's down at 4 PM. Okay, ground, we have good starts on engines 1 and 2. We're starting engines 3 and 4, beginning with engine number 3 now. Roger, clear 3. Engine 3 start. And the push is completed, set park and brake. Park and brake is set. And here's 10%, engine 4 start. So number 3 is available.
Bravo Charlie.
Here's the
Taxi
tuck,
mountain
here's
via
the
Echo
tow bar.
Romeo. Hold short of runway 26 right, then Tango, Juliet, Romeo, Romeo Alpha, Quebec, Lima, Quebec Alpha.
Just because it looks better, let's give you the en
Echo
route map
Romeo,
already.
short of runway 26 right, then Tango, Juliet, Romeo, Romeo.
Okay,
Alpha,
ground. We
Quebec,
have 4 good
Lima,
engine
Quebec
starts.
Alpha,
Please
easy
prepare the
one,
update for
Bravo,
taxi. See you on the right hand side and have a good day. Bye bye.
Golf Tango contact tower on 124.
So 5.1 up, which is pretty much what we've got. 27, well, yeah, 27.5%. That's looking good. Okay, so there's the ramp agent. He is holding the pin after start checklist. And we did calculate engine anti-ice on. Still need that. Well, I'll tell you what, if we've calculated it, we're gonna do it.
Runway 26 right.
Okay, so engine anti-ice on, ecam status check, pitch trim 27.5%, rudder trim neutral after start checklist complete. Flight control check, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Air Mauritius 53, request taxi.
Air Mauritius 53, runway 26 left taxi via Lima November, Alpha November, Mike.
Air Mauritius 53, taxi to runway 26 left via Lima November, Alpha November and Mike. Lima, November, Alpha November and Mike. Okay, so left, left and full length. Okay, we can do that. Brake check. Pressure 0. That might have been a little bit of a harsh brake check here. Let's hope that the ladies weren't dancing in the back. Okay, I guess we'll be behind the EasyJet then. So we're on November, straight ahead, 26 right is the runway that we are not supposed to enter. Okay, clear left side, clear right side. Yeah, that looks like Alpha November. Yep, behind the EasyJet. Good. So right side's clear, left side's clear. And here it says Alpha November on the ground as well. As mentioned, sometimes Gatwick is a little complicated. Today was easy though.
Air Mauritius 53, contact tower on 124.23. Have a good afternoon.
124.23, Air Mauritius 53, good afternoon. Alright, and the departure frequency is going to be 18.95. Good, then let's go ahead with the procedures. So, water brake, squawk is checked, weather radar comes on, and config check is good. Taxi checklist. Flight controls checked, flaps, config 2, radar and PWS on an auto. Engine start selector non, ECA memo, takeoff no blue, taxi checklist complete.
EV47, Mike Papa hold short of runway 26 right.
A341 holding short of 26 left, ready to go.
Alright, so a couple of easies over there, so I suggest we speed this up a little bit, and then I see you again when we're ready. Gatwick Tower, Air Mauritius 53, ready for departure. So the easies have just disappeared.
Air Mauritius 53 heavy, London. Gatwick Airport Tower, runway 26 left, wind 210 at 4, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff, Air Mauritius 53 heavy.
Nordic
Okay.
1308, contact ground on 121.805.
Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
08.
Line-up checklist. Takeoff runway 26 left full length. TCAS, Tara, PEX 1 and 2 off. Line-up checklist complete. And with that, we are ready to go. Okay, are you ready? Then let's go.
Nordic
Off to
130
paradise.
Hold short of runway 26 right.
26 left.
26R, holding short, Nordic 1308.
Manflex 37, SRS, runway auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Is that an airplane on my runway there? Hello.
V1.
No comment on that.
Easy.
Rotate.
Contact Mike hold. Short of runway 26 right.
Positive climb. Gear up.
Nordic 1308 full. Hold short of runway 26 right.
Little loss of speed here right after liftoff. And there was not a lot of runway left on this one. It was fine, but thrust decline 2, auto thrust. Oh boy, we're losing a lot of thrust here with that.
Air Mauritius 53. Contact departure on 118.905.
118.905, Air Mauritius 53. I tell you what, I'm going to reduce, to remove the climb derate here. Thrust climb. Because that way we can easily make the speed constraints here, or rather the altitude constraints. Gatwick, departure, Air Mauritius 53 heavy, passing 2,800, climbing 6,000. Climb flight level 060, Air Mauritius 53. Climb alt 5000, magenta. And the packs are coming in a moment. That's what you really need a pilot monitoring for. So pack 1 on and engine anti-ice off, please. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. That click spot could also need a little better placing. So, automatic flap retraction passing 200 knots. Contact 128.43, Air Mauritius 53. Bye bye. 1,000 to go. Okay, we are cleared to level 60. Pull vertical speed 1,000. vertical speed, alt 6000 blue. 1 in control, Air Mauritius 5-3 heavy, passing 4800, climbing flight level 60. Should be altitude 6000 really.
Air Mauritius 5-3, London control identified, good afternoon, QNH 990.
990, Air Mauritius 5-3. Set QNH. And thrust climb, open climb, flaps 0. Speed checked, flaps 0. Now that speed target is a little bit high. Should be limited to 257. Interesting. That was on the changelog, wasn't it? Speed, vertical speed. And it is going to accelerate past the 250 towards the whatever the green speed currently is. Engine RTS on. Hold down. Hold.
Mauritius 5-3, climb flight level 230.
Climbing flight level 230, Air Mauritius 5-3. First climb, open climb, alt 23,000 blue. Set standard. Standard, cross check, passing flight level 68. Now, checked. Alright, so now the question, are we going to stay on full climb thrust? Well, I think we probably are. So, autopilot 1, and with that we're pretty much done. Air Mauritius 5-3, any speed restriction? AKA, please relieve me of the 250 knots at Bokna.
Air Mauritius 5-3, speed restriction approved. Advise your requested speed.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Air Mauritius 5-3, request speed 320 knots. That's kind of the one from down here.
Air Mauritius 5-3, speed 320 knots approved.
320 knots approved, Air Mauritius 5-3, thank you. Okay, perfect, that's what I wanted to hear. So our speed is approved. I'm going to accelerate when we're past 10,000 though. Okay, and everything else is going to be done automatically. Then we're going through 10,000 over here, so that's going to be lights off, signs, well, as soon as we're through this, because this looks like it could be a little bit turbulent here.
Shortly, Captain.
Alright, thank you. Okay, so clear and copy, please. Nothing on the rat nav, copy active, and then we got optimum 325, cruising 330, and that's it. Alright, beautiful. So we can go selected 317 was the exact speed. Like that, and for the time being, that's everything I have for you. So enjoy the absolutely fantastic, beautiful flight. Really hoping for a couple of great views of the skies, perhaps of Milky Way over Africa, and then I suppose I see you all when we start our approach to paradise. v1.0.4, Air Mauritius 53. Alright, so let's call the approach. It's going to be 19.1 and we have Asus X-ray. Mauritius approach, Air Mauritius 53 heavy, passing 14,000, descending 6,000, information X-ray.
Air Mauritius 53 heavy. Mauritius approach identified. Good morning, cleared IMTOB transition. Expect the ILS Zulu runway 14 approaching to Mauritius.
Expecting the ILS Zulu runway 14 from IMCOV, Air Mauritius 53. Perfect, that's exactly what we're doing. So we're already inbound to IMCOV, even though there is a really interesting 0 knot speed restriction showing here. I have a feeling that's because of the constant math segment that I entered, because I didn't enter an end waypoint. In the real world it would default to the top of descent as end waypoint, but we'll just take it as that. Now deleted, so let's see what the airplane is going to come up with once it recalculates. It still has those constraints, not 8.1 over here, that doesn't make sense. Do I really have to delete them manually for any single one of those flight plans? Or any single one of those waypoints now? Yep, looks like it. Okay, that's quite the bug then. Okay, nothing nicer than having to delete speed restrictions. But at least that does explain why we had all those strange 0 knot restrictions there. But okay. Well, officially speaking, we're not supposed to touch the approach, but since that is something that got artificially added over here, I'm rather happy taking that out. Okay, cool. So all that lovely stuff is in here. Then let's go ahead and start with the approach briefing, shall we? So, Rima to Mauritius runway 14. We are currently following the tieback arrival for the IMCOV transition ILS Zulu approach runway 14, which is more or less straight in over the mountains. The minimum is 470 feet and the go around is going to be a right hand turn and climbing to 4,000. Extra fuel and time, even though we had so many messages telling us that we are going to arrive below the minimum fuel. As you can see, 1.8, 24 minutes, so we are absolutely spot on with what we expected according to our original flight plan. So just a couple of predictions that were off there. Alright, now for the second part of our briefing, the approach will be flight director guided. It's a 3.5 degree glide slope. For this reason I will be using config full, which I hope I have selected. No, of course I didn't. So here we go, 3.5 degree glide slope, config full is selected. 25 degrees, absolutely beautiful weather conditions into Mauritius today. Now let's go ahead and speed brake over here. We half speed brakes in order to be able to lose that speed and catch the profile. Okay, so it's going to be maximum reverse, on brakes low, vacate the runway to the right hand side, and we are taxiing to gate number 2 today according to the forecast. Let's have a very quick look. So come off most likely at Delta and then in. We'll see how they say gate number 2. We are not going to do that. We'll go somewhere down here between 11 and 15. Okay, and I think that's really all there is to this. Nothing special. The 3.5 degree glide slope is a little bit special, but nothing significant. And threats for the arrival is going to be the terrain up to 2,657 feet. How are we going to mitigate against that? Well, there is a little bit of weather in the area of the missed approach path. For that reason, you can go onto the terrain over here and make sure to put the brightness fully up, and I will stay on the weather. Any questions or suggestions? No? Alright, then that's the approach briefing completed. So we're going through 10,000. Lights on, signs on. We've got the EFIS is now set, GPS primary, high accuracy, and the engine start selector is in norm. Perfect. So we're already on QNH, then let's do the approach checklist, please. So that's barrel reference, QNH 1015, seatbelts on, minimum barrel 470, auto brake, low, engine mode selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Alright, beautiful. So a little bit of weather over here, which is kinda expected. It is a bit of a pity though, because Mauritius is really, really beautiful in terms of the visuals over there. So it's really absolutely worth seeing that island on approach. But well, not much we can do. So we're clear to descend via the arrival. That means we've passed level 60, so we go down to 4,000 up next. Well, that's 4,000 blue. Now yes, we could just play the Airbus game and simply set 3,200 as well. And then we got out 4,000 magenta. As you can see, doesn't make too much of a difference. So that missed approach seems to be blocked by weather, so yeah, let's talk to ATC in case of missed approach runway heading. Yeah, Mauritius 5-3, due to weather on the missed approach track, request a new missed approach, which is on the runway heading climbing 4,000 feet. Let's see if the AI can actually understand that and act accordingly. They should be able to.
Air Mauritius 5-3, missed approach approved. Climb altitude runway heading and maintain 4,000.
Thank you very much. In case of missed approach, runway heading 4,000, Air Mauritius 5-3. Excellent. See, that's the advantage of having something AI powered versus having something scripted. Okay. Cool, so we've done pretty much everything we needed to. Now let's see, the runway is 19 miles out, the glide slope is going to be a little bit steeper than usual, so once we reach 4,000, I am going to activate the approach phase so that we start slowing down and then have a little bit of margin there for the approach. Looking at the weather radar, we've got something red just to the right of the center line. All constraint star, descent blue. And activate approach phase. All constraint. And the approach phase is active, we are starting to slow down. Beautiful island with all those mountains here. Alright, flaps 1. Speed checks. Flaps 1. And cleared for the approach. Cat3 dual, autopilot 1-2, glide slope localizer blue. Lock start. It should not be turning right to intercept that. So now the red is exactly on the center line. Well, let's get a little bit closer and see what it's actually going to look like.
Air Mauritius 5-3 heavy. Proceed direct to go. Cleared for the ILS runway 14 approach.
Cleared ILS 14, Air Mauritius 5-3 heavy.
Air Mauritius 5-3. Contact Mauritius Tower on 118.1.
118.1, Air Mauritius 5-3. Mauritius Tower, Air Mauritius 5-3 heavy, established ILS 14. Glide slope star, flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. I just want that additional drag here from the glide slope.
Air Mauritius 5-3. Heavy, Mauritius Tower.
Right, here now.
Continue. ILS approach. Runway 14.
Continue ILS 14, Air Mauritius 5-3. It's strange. Look at where the wind comes from, and yet the weather is moving to the left, with the wind clearly coming from the left.
53. Heavy. Wind 350 at 5. Runway 14. Clear to land.
Speed. Okay, speed brakes out. What on earth? Mauritius 5-3, runway 14, clear to land. Okay, we're pretty much out of it. Now we've just got to get the airplane slow. Look at how the wind has turned. Yep, that was definitely some weather there. Oh, it's nice. Beautiful effects. Alright, now the speed's coming back. Flaps 3. Speed check. And speed brakes back in and out. And flaps full. Speed check, flaps full. Landing checklist. Ecam memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Alright, the next shower, but that's just green is straight ahead. That's okay. Alright. Then let's bring this thing down to the ground. Did we do the landing checklist? Well, Ecam memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Now we did. And that shower is right across the runway. Let's see how that's gonna go. Those showers in the south over here can be pretty interesting, let's put it that way. And I have a feeling that the QNH of 1015 that they gave us is like completely incorrect here. Well, minimum continue.
Hundred above.
Or is it? No, could be accurate.
Minimum.
Yeah, well, as mentioned, you continue. And we are entering some turbulence again here. On the puppies.
100. 50, 40, 30, 320, 10.
With weather like that, just put it on the marker. So, spoilers. Why the reverser's not working? Well, then we do it without reverse.
meters.
70 knots. Manual brakes. Okay, next exit to the right.
200 remaining.
11 hours and 20 minutes.
900 remaining.
53. Taxi to Terminal 2 at your discretion. Stay with me.
Taxi to Terminal 2 at our discretion. Air Mauritius 53 remaining on your frequency.
Air Mauritius 53. Taxi.
Yeah, you said that already. Alrighty. With that, welcome to Mauritius. That was an interesting one. Most certainly that approach over here. There was something that I forgot on the approach. You know, everyone always says that in Flight Simulator you can simply fly through the red points on the weather radar without any problem. And, well, you can, but we just saw the problem over here. The reason everyone thinks you can do that is because we're all used to flying with realistic turbulence turned off. I have it on. So, yeah, you saw that updraft that we encountered over there. even though realistically it should have been a downdraft, not an updraft, because, well, you know, there is rain pouring out of the cloud. The rain is going down, not up. Because an updraft like we have seen, where the airplane needs like 7.5 degrees nose down to maintain the glide slope, yeah, you can be sure that is able to lift a 165-ton Airbus A340, or even a 170-ton Airbus A340, that's also going to lift the raindrops up. So, yeah, nice little physics bug there. But I suppose we are going to leave it at that. After landing checklist, radar predictive wind shear off. After landing checklist complete. Wow, look at that bank angle here. And no, I did not kill a tire. That's really the runway that is so tilted to the right here. Well, I should say the former runway, because now it is the taxiway. But you get where I'm going with that. Okay, so we can just go straight to the main apron here. So we'll vacate hotel and then straight to the gate. We'll take gate number 13 then. It's not Friday today, so we can take that. So, gate 13, and we do not need to follow me, thank you. Great. Alright, start APU please. A little bit rainy. Wipers on. Alright, we're coming off in hotel, then slightly to the right, gate 13. Must be that one then. Lights off, radar's off anyway. Alright, the Marshal is inside. Interesting that we get a Marshaller here, even though there would be a guidance system in place, but, well, ain't gonna complain. Take that from a German, he's not complaining. Alright, and here we are. So, parking brake is set, APU bleed on. And just waiting for APU bleed to replace APU veil, which does take a while in the real airplane as well. iniBuilds have simulated this pretty well. And here we go. Cabin crew, all doors and park. So, toggle arm doors, then you can also put the chocks in place. And here we go. Okay, so parking checklist. Parking brake or chocks. Well, chocks are in, so we can release that parking brake. Engines off and fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. And with that, my friends, welcome to Mauritius. Let's go ahead and request deboarding over here so that our guests can go to their well-deserved holidays. and then we can shut that airplane down. So ADRs 1, 2, 3 going off, transponder 2000 standby. Now let's see how much fuel we used. 72.7, and we were supposed to use 72.1, so use like 700 kilos more. Well, that kind of makes sense with the thunderstorms that we had to fly around when we reached France, so I suppose that was a fine trade-off here, and absolutely in limits. Arriving at 0348, the scheduled arrival time would have been 0340, so couple minutes delay, but that is absolutely fine. Well, my friends, and with that, welcome to Mauritius. I do hope that you enjoyed this flight as much as I did. Enjoy your beautiful holidays, and then I'm looking forward to eventually see you on the return trip to Europe. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and then I'm really looking forward to see you all again on the next one.